What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to talk about draft prospect Jared Verse. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. And if you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here at the bottom of the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So as I mentioned in today's video, I do want to talk about draft prospect Jared Verse. Jared Verse is the edge rusher, played his college ball at Florida State. He goes about 6'5", or 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds. And Jared Verse is my top edge rusher in this draft class. So far, I've watched his tape and also Latu's tape out of UCLA. And out of the guys that I've seen so far, Jared Verse is my favorite edge rusher in this draft class. This guy's amazing. Looking at his tape, looking at his film, if I were going to compare him to any edge rusher in the league today, I would compare him to a Micah Parsons. He reminds me of Micah Parsons. I believe Micah Parsons may be like 20 pounds lighter than a Jared Verse, but Jared Verse has great get-off speed. He's one of those guys that's very physical in the trenches, a guy who can line up in a two-point stance or with his hand in the dirt. And he's one of those guys that shot out of a cannon when he rushes the passer. He's one of those guys that has a lot of pass rush moves, but he mainly beats a lot of his opponents with his speed to power. He's one of those guys that can use speed and power when he rushes. He changes in between both speed and power, and I think that's what makes him a very versatile edge rusher. He's very good against the run, very good at bending the edge. But if you go check this guy out, man, he's something special. The bull rush, when I was watching his tape, he was able to bull rush the lineman and knock him into the quarterback. But he's one of those guys that plays like a Tasmanian devil out there on the field. One of those guys that wreaked havoc. And I think that he could be one of those guys that ends up being the top edge rusher in this draft when it's all said and done, as far as having the best pro career. But he's one of those guys, like I said, I've been very impressed with when I watched him on film and watched his highlights and things of that nature. Last year, he was one of the guys, the prospects that I covered, but he decided to go back to college. And this guy is special talent. He possibly would have been the top edge rusher outside of Will Anderson last season. But he is one of those guys that I think the Falcons should definitely take at 8. If they decide to go with an edge rusher, out of the 3 guys that I've watched Jared Verse, I've watched Latu, and I've also started watching some of Dallas Turner's highlights. But out of those 3 guys, to me, Jared Verse, hands down, to me, is the best out of those 3 that I've seen. This guy looks like he's going to be a special talent in the NFL, from the pass rush moves to him not only using speed, but also using power to rush. He doesn't look like he has many weaknesses in his game. And one thing that I like about him is he just plays full speed on every play. And that was something that I noticed when I was covering Micah Parsons coming out of Penn State. One thing that I noticed about Micah Parsons on tape, even though he was a smaller edge rusher, because he only is about 245 pounds coming out, he was one of those guys on tape where he just looked supremely athletic, really fast, really physical, and always played at top speed at all times. Looked like he was just playing it at a different speed than his opponents. And that's one thing that I noticed looking at Jared Verse on tape, looking at him, his highlights and some of the games that he played in at Florida State. That's what stands out to me, is he's one of those guys that just looks like he's on a whole nother level as far as his confidence, as far as his ability to play at a different speed than his opponent. And it looks like he's just supremely more talented than the guys that he's going up against. So I definitely think that he could definitely be a great pickup for our Atlanta Falcons. When I talk about a game wrecker, If you guys go and check this guy's film out, to me, he looks like one of those guys that's going to be a game record for whatever team drafts him. But I hope that the Atlanta Falcons, if they decide to go edge rusher, right now, Jared Verse is the #1 prospect as far as on my draft board for the pass rushers. But with that being said, you guys go check out Jared Verse's highlights. Go check out his some of his film. He's, to me, one of those guys that I definitely think that the Falcons should take. If they decide not to go with a quarterback in the first round, Jared Verse, to me, would be hands down the guy that I would go with in this draft. But with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts on Jared Verse. Do you think the Falcons should draft him at 8 if he's still available? Personally, I was blown away by looking at his film, looking at his highlights and things of that nature. I think this guy's going to be a special talent in the league. But with that being said, this being your boy Jew. I have a lot more content coming for you guys. But as always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.